What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. So we're going to be discussing all the latest with Palace. As always, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, to not miss our future videos. It feels good. And Monday after a win, it definitely feels much better. And also, we've got an update on manager situations. There's a few managers out of job right now, and we're going to be talking about a few of them. As you can see from the title, Adi Hutter, the manager that we were linked with when Vieira got sacked, he has come out and spoke about potentially wanting to manage in the Premier League. So we'll be talking about that. And also, Brendan Rodgers and Graham Potter, could they be the answers? Will you be happy with that kind of approach? That we're going to be talking about that and more throughout the show. As always, send in your comments in the live comment section and also in the comment section down below if you're watching on replay. Look, let's start off with the Adi Hutter news. He came out today, I believe, or it might have happened over the weekend, and he has said the following about, returning back to management. He got recently sacked by Borussia Mönchengladbach. He was very successful at Frankfurt. He's one of the managers that we've been linked with ever since Vieira's left the job. And he said the following. He said some exciting things, and he said that my big goal is the Premier League. We're on that. There may be one or other options. There were several interesting inquiries last year, including from there, but that would have come too soon. So Hutter has come out publicly and has said that his big objective is the Premier League. This is a manager that we're after. I mean, that's a massive positive. But interestingly, he has said that he's had a few inquiries last year. So there seems like, I'm not too sure what teams that could have been. Maybe Tottenham. I'm not too sure exactly. But it seemed like he had the option to come to the Premier League already, but he didn't feel he was quite ready. But now this might be the moment. And this is a manager that we've been talking about potentially playing free at the back and, requiring a bit of investment to refresh the squad. But regardless of if it's Adi Hutter or not, I mean, if it's a manager that wants to work in the Premier League and we're interested in this manager, it's literally on us. We just have to sell him the plan because as it said from the quotes, he's had a few interests in the Premier League. So it's not going to be as straightforward as he wants to work in the Premier League. That's it. Palace have to go get him. No, because there'll be other teams right now. Leicester sacked their manager. They might be interested as well. There might be, even Tottenham. They're without manager as well. So there's going to be some competition there. So it's basically on us at this point. This manager wants to come over here. But what can we do for him to pick us over the likes of other clubs that may also be interested? Because don't get me wrong, he's not maybe a Pep Guardiola, but he is rated. He's a rated manager. He done very well at Frankfurt. We're talking about a manager that, moved on to a high level. He didn't quite work out at Borussia Mönchengladbach, but he got an opportunity at Borussia Mönchengladbach based on what he done at Frankfurt. He's a highly rated manager, and there will be interest. And this is the thing. I mean, if we want to push on to the next level, it's not just investment on the pitch. It's about showing the ambition. So if we want to get the likes of Adi Hutter, and he wants to work in the Premier League, that's great. But what can you do to say, you want to work in the Premier League? We will show you this. This is what we want to do. Come over and work for us. This is a manager that wants to come over here. But also, he probably wants to see a team with a bit of ambition. So that'll be interesting. I mean, it's not just him. Look, let me go through the conversation. But it's not just him. I'm going to talk about Brendan Rodgers and Graham Potter because I feel like they are two very important names. And maybe Steve Cooper as well that we should be talking about in today's episode. But look, what's going on, Monty? Lou says, I don't want Brendan Rodgers. Maybe Potter. He loves to play the youth. I'll be happy with Hutter and Potter, says Monty. I think Potter could work as long as we stay up. We have to spend at least 150 million to get Hutter. I don't think we have to spend 150 million pounds to get Hutter. But one thing that we need to do, based on what happened with Vieira, is if other managers are looking at Palace, we saw it. Few managers were unhappy. The likes of even Vincent Kompany, a manager that we wanted for him to join Palace. He was unhappy about the Vieira sacking. So what we have to do now is improve our reputation. And that starts off with the guys at the top. They need to sell a plan to these managers for them to want to come to Crystal Palace and to work for us. Being a Premier League club is massive. But I don't think it's a case of they're going to say, they need to say, we need to spend 150 million, or we're looking to spend. No, we have to be realistic. 150 million pounds is not on Palace's budget. But maybe if they even offer the likes of, we'll plan to do this summer. Next summer, we'll plan to spend even more. We need to show a bit of ambition off the pitch. So it's not just a case of just figures. It's a case of what's the next 5-year project? Is it the case of we'll build a new stand? Hutter, we want you to come in. You know, once we build a new stand, we increase the revenue, and maybe like that we increase our transfer budget. It's not a case of one summer window, and that's the main thing about us. We need to now sell a proper project. Under Vieira, it didn't work out. He's not the current Palace manager. And the next manager, we need to make sure that we at least give promises that we can back in more than one window. Because Vieira's first season was absolutely great. We brought in Elise, Gehi, and a few other players. But then that's the main problem. It was after that we didn't spend and invest as much as we should have, and could, we should have, to push on to the next level. So we need to increase our reputation again, especially for managers that it might have been destroyed with, if that makes sense. Potter turned down the Leicester job. I've seen that as well. Trust me, we're going to be talking about Potter. But what do you guys think about the Hutter situation anyways? Let me know in the comment section. Is it a manager that some of you may not even know about him? Is it a manager that, if you do know about him, or even if you don't, is it a manager that you would want at Palace? Because there are some other names that I'm going to talk about, as I mentioned, Brendan Rodgers and even the likes of Graham Potter. And we can do that right now as well. Look, Sibs is saying, forgetting how well Rodgers was doing with Leicester before last season. 100%. Let's talk about Brendan Rodgers, and let's talk about Graham Potter as well, because there's a few other managers that are out there that are quality managers that are maybe proven in the Premier League that we could go for. So let's start off with Brendan Rodgers. He got sacked. I mean, this is not probably the greatest time, because some of you lot watching this are just thinking, there's no way I want Rodgers. Like, did you just see what Roy Hodgson done to his team? And I get it to a certain extent, but it doesn't work straightforward as that. It's not just one game. I mean, Brendan Rodgers over his career, he's managed Swansea. I thought he'd done a tremendous job there. He went to Liverpool, nearly won them the league, didn't quite push forward. At Leicester, let's not forget, he's just a manager that won the FA Cup not too long ago. But then again, they've had a very solid squad in terms of the likes of Tielemans, James Maddison, even Vardy at his peak, Harvey Barnes, Soyuncu, who was playing well. So it's not like Rodgers, I don't know how to say this. It's not like Rodgers has done well with a Leicester squad that didn't have quality players. They had quality players, and he achieved with those quality players. They were pushing for top 4 not too long ago. So if you're looking at Brendan Rodgers' latest career, yes, he did get sacked at Leicester. But for me, my biggest worry, and let me know what you guys think, my biggest worry about Brendan Rodgers is he has a shelf life. I don't know if it could be a long-term success. When I say long-term, maybe the likes of 5 years or so. I don't know if he could be that manager. I mean, we've seen it in the past. He does well at jobs initially, but then as the job goes on, it seems like the job slightly catches up to him, and the ideas are kind of lost. And this is what it feels like at Leicester as well, in a way. Yes, they didn't quite back him, and they're going through a bit of financial struggles, but still, they've had some quality players there. And Leicester shouldn't be struggling as they are right now. They shouldn't be struggling. And that's my biggest question mark with Rodgers. Yes, he might do well if he was to get him this upcoming season and maybe the following season. But then does he hit a ceiling? Because he's had a few jobs in the Premier League now. And that's my biggest concern about Brendan Rodgers potentially coming to Palace if we were interested in him, which I think Parish might be, because it's quite a safe bet. I'm talking about maybe what happens 3-4 years down the line. But in the short term, or even in the next season or two, we're talking about a Premier League manager that has managed top clubs, that has also managed a club that's not the top 6, but also not a bottom half club in Leicester. So he's had a bit of experience, and also Swansea as well. So he's had a bit of experience. So I think Steve Parish would want him. But me as a fan, that's the main thing I'm worried about, whether he does hit a ceiling and then what happens after that. Let me go through some of the comments as well. T, of course, he's busy right now. He's at work and it's still. I love T's dedication. I love T, man. Been doing some Hutter research, and I like his style of play, but we need to invest in the right and left wing backs for sure. Yeah, I agree, T. I agree. We do need to invest in right wing backs, left wing backs, but it's just more than that as well. I mean, forward. I know we won and beat Leicester recently, and I know we scored 2 goals, but forward, that's another area that we probably need to strengthen. Left winger, that's an area that we need to strengthen regardless of if Will stays or goes. And maybe this strengthening happens from our youth academy as well. Maybe some of these academy players can step up, but for Hutter, I feel like it's more than just a right and left wing backs. 100%, that's the main priority, especially if you bring in a manager that wants to play with a back 3. You need a proper right wing back and left wing back. And right now, Tyree, he can probably do a job at left wing back, but we still need to strengthen in depth. Right hand side, we desperately need it, regardless of if it's Hutter or not. So yeah, 100% agree. Benitez would be a good manager. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it. I would like a younger manager. I would like a younger manager who could go on a bit longer. Benitez doesn't excite me, in all honesty. If we're talking about project, I mean, Benitez could have been well in the short term if we're talking about, you know, the next 9 games or so instead of Roy Hodgson. But in a long-term project, I'm not really a fan of Benitez like that. And also, I don't think he'd want to come to Palace unless we give him good amount of money. Sis also says no chance Potter joins us. So we could talk about Potter now. And my thing about Potter is, would he demand too much money? I would love Potter. If you're talking about out of the 3 managers that I've mentioned, Brendan Rodgers, Graham Potter, and Hutter, my list, and let me know what you guys think about this. But my list in terms of priority out of them 3 managers would be Potter at the top, Hutter second, and Rodgers third. Yes, Rodgers has managed in the Premier League, but I'd still like us to take the risk approach in terms of Hutter. Something different. A manager that's done well over in Germany, and let's see what he can do in the Premier League. Whereas we know what to expect with Rodgers. We know the question marks involved with him. So for me, Rodgers would be bottom of the list. But saying that, I think Rodgers will maybe be top of Parrish's list. I think he'll work the other way around because it's the less risky approach. And I don't think Rodgers would be a bad appointment. But for me, I would like us to go, you know, try your best with Potter. And let's talk about Potter because at Chelsea, there is that salary concern, right? So he's getting, what, £12 million a year? And we're not going to afford that. Forget about it. We can't even spend 12 million on players barely. We're struggling with the player side of things. So I don't think we're going to spend that much on a manager. But also, I don't think Graham Potter is going to get that amount of wage wherever he goes. But for me, I think Potter is a bit more unrealistic. I don't know about you guys, but I think Potter, he did reject the Leicester job, it seems like, which is positive for us. But I feel like he's taking a break, which is also good because Leicester need a manager right now. So we've got that ability that we can wait till the summer, which might be good in a Potter aspect because Leicester need a manager right now. So I'm pretty sure they're going to go for a manager. Maybe they try appointing a long-term manager and don't go the approach that we went. But that helps us in a way. If Potter's waiting until the summer to find a new job, then that's positive. But then again, I'm thinking about the main job that I'm thinking about for Graham Potter is potentially the Tottenham job. I can see him going to Tottenham. I think that would fit him as well. So look, I would love him to be at Palace, but I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Especially if the Tottenham job's available. Maybe Tottenham don't want him. Maybe that's another thing. Maybe that helps us in the first place. But yeah, I think he'll be great. But then again, Potter, as I mentioned with Brendan Rodgers has a shelf life in terms of 3 to 4 seasons, maybe. But with Potter, it might be the opposite. It might take a bit too slow to start with. And then in the long run, you can see the dividends paying off. And I wouldn't mind that. I don't think many Palace fans would mind that. I think Potter would require a bit of investment, 100%. We need investment in the squad. But also, he might be able to bring a few tricks that he knew from Brighton over to Palace. You know, see what they were doing well. See what we can do well. You know, and by the way, people that saying, I've seen comments about, oh, Potter, he's managed Brighton, he wouldn't want to come to Palace. I'm telling you right now, there's 20 other reasons or 30 other reasons why Potter wouldn't want to join Palace other than he's managed Brighton, he wouldn't want to join Palace. First of all, his relationship with Brighton is gone. There's no relationship there. So that's not my biggest concern. That's not my concern by any means. Brighton fans don't rate him. He knows that as well. So that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is, can we sell a project to Graham Potter? And would Graham Potter get job offers from bigger clubs than Palace? And if he does, then forget about it. And that's what I'm saying. The odds are against us with Graham Potter. I think the realistic option right now is probably Adi Hutter if he sold the proper plan, and Brendan Rodgers. I think Brendan Rodgers, of all them 3 names, probably Brendan Rodgers is the most realistic one, but in my list, I think he should be bottom out of them 3 names. But I think he's the most realistic option. Utilize the academy as well. Yeah, look, the under 18s are killing it. They are killing it. But then again, the under 18s, by investing in the academy, which we have done, it's going to take a while, and not every under 18 could step up to the first team. So there's going to be a few of them. Maybe when it comes to 2-3 years time, they might have to move on. But look, we have got gems in our academy, and we have to utilize it. But saying that, in the short term, we still need a good amount of investment to strengthen first team players, because I don't know if the under 18s will be ready in the summer. There might be a few youth players in the academy, which right now they're not in the academy. For example, the likes of Jess Raksaki. I rated Raksaki highly, and I said it even at the start of this season, like, use Raksaki as an option coming off the bench. So, there are some academy players that we can utilize, but we have to also be realistic about it, because not every academy player, as well as they're doing in the academy, is going to be able to step it up in the first team, especially for a Premier League club. They might be able to do it in the Championship, and they might take a few more years, but they won't be able to step up as quickly. And also, the academy players that are doing well right now are playing for the under-18s. So the under-18s is going to take a bit longer than the under-21s to step up to the first team. So it might be a few years till we see the best out of our academy. But look, if a new manager wants to join us, we can sell. That's one of the objectives, to sell the plan. The academy, we can sell that, because our academy should be up there. It should be up there with at least top 10 in the country. The reason why I'm saying that is the catchment area that we have right now is unbelievable. Look at all the players that's come out from London, let alone South London. There's a lot. There's a lot. This area that we're in right now has a lot of young talent, and we need to make sure we get the most out of them. The 100% improving the academy is going to help. We're seeing with the under-18s, but that's a project that's going to take a while. But look, that's for us. That's the 100% for us, the academy. I don't really know much about Hutter. He seems very exciting, says Louis. He came 5th back-to-back with Leicester. Unreal achievement. Yeah, he did. But then again, that's what I mean about his shelf life. He came 5th. Then now, right now, there's a chance they could get relegated. And also, he came 5th with very good players. They had very good players. And that's down to Leicester's recruitment. They brought in the likes of Maddison. They had, Tielemans and, even Maguire to a certain extent. Like they had quality players. It's not like Rodgers done an incredible job with an average squad. He had quality players in that side. And that's why even this season, they're talking about Leicester potentially finishing Europe before the season started, because they have got the talent. And that's why even right now, people are saying Leicester won't get relegated because of the talent. So they've had talent. Him finishing 5th back-to-back, that's 100% a great achievement. But he had the talent also to achieve that. Right now, I don't think we've got a squad as good as Leicester's. Well, Leicester had when they did finish 5th. So we'll still require a bit of investment with Rodgers. Company, yeah, but the way he spoke about us, I don't think he's really excited about the Palace job right now. He wasn't happy about Vieira. And also, why would Company want to come to Palace? Burnley, unless Burnley don't get promoted, which I think they will be, I think he's going to stay at Burnley. So, yeah, I think Company right now is not realistic. If you're talking about another potential manager, maybe Carrick. That's if Borough don't get promoted. I know people have mentioned Carrick. I don't know if you guys would want Carrick in the Premier League. He's a manager that, I guess, has done well in the short term. We don't know how well he could do in the Premier League. He hasn't got that much experience, but in terms of his philosophy, he seems exciting. But then again, these type of managers, the Companies, the Carricks, they're in jobs right now. They're in jobs to potentially manage in the Premier League next season in the first place. So, you would have to sell something incredible for them to leave that project and come over to us. So it really depends on if their teams get promoted. If their teams don't get promoted, then yes. But if their teams do, then I don't think that's realistic. I would not have Rodgers to run 5-a-side. What's going on with the new stand? Honestly, Kendi, I don't know. I don't think many people... Well, I do know to a certain extent that I think there's been a new application approved, but I don't think it's anything in the short term that's going to happen. I don't think there's nothing about, the next 4 months or this summer the new stand is going to start getting built. It seems like there's still troubles along the way, but the tune is done, the bear is. I mean, it was announced back in 2017, and we're talking about 2023. It's taken a while, and I feel like it'll still take a bit of time as well. Potters, Rodgers, Hutter. That's your order. Fair enough. But I think majority would agree that Potter is on the top of the list. But for Potter to come, we need to sell a plan. Potter, no way his team can't score a goal, but they create a lot of chances. Then again, you might argue, is it down to tactics they don't score? But they do create a lot of chances. And yeah, so I'll still want Potter. I would. All them names, I'll still want Potter. Look what he done with Brighton. Let's not forget that. I mean, De Zerbi's doing well right now, but even this season, before Potter left Brighton, they were in a very good position. And he's built Brighton up to be that solid team. They was going to finish top 10 regardless this season, even under Potter. I remember Brighton, not too long ago, they were finishing below us every season. So he's built a solid project there. And yes, he has, of course, some flaws. No manager's perfect, but out of all the managers listed, I'll still take Graham Potter. Potter, for me, young manager and a point to prove. Now he's been sacked. He'll be hungry to get back on it at the end of the season. Yes, he'll be hungry, but there'll also be a few clubs that'll be after him as well. I'm pretty certain of that. So it's on us to go for it. But I want to talk about Steve Parish in just a second. Let me go through some of the comments, and then we'll wrap it up. We won't go for too much longer. Seek says, yes, those two have the pull into bringing players. Lampard, no. Steven, yes, I'll take him. Potter would get the best out of the likes of Edward, in my opinion. Our squad is good enough. Surely you don't turn us down. our squad is good enough right now, but let's see what happens in the summer, because it might be, that's the thing. The summer, you don't know. It's very hard to say. It might be the summer that we might start selling to buy. Selling to buy one of our young talents that have, a good price tag on them. Mark Gay has been one of them. So yes, we've got a good enough squad right now, but what's the plan in the summer? Because we have to spend money, and if there's no money in the bank, then you might have to sell to buy. So the squad might even get weaker before we get stronger if we're selling to buy. And also maybe the options that if we go down that route, there's also a chance that the replacements that we do get might not even match the talent that we had in the first place. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say right now, but yeah, for now this season anyways, our squad is solid. But next season we'll see. If Wilf leaves, that's massive. If Gahey leaves or one of these players leaves, that could be massive as well. Richard says, do we really know how Adi Hotter operates? Yeah, he likes to play a back three. So we'll desperately need new right wing backs and left wing backs and improve the depth there. But with Adi Hotter, we could potentially do a video with the Motion Gladbach fan or Frankfurt fan. But right now it's too early to say, so that's why I haven't done a video on him. But yeah, he likes to play attacking football as well. So yeah, the main concern for me is his formation. He likes to have a back three. Right now, I think we've got the defenders, but we still need a few more plays. How bad is Za's injury? So today we're meant to find out. We're meant to find out today. So he should have had his scans today. He did go to the boxing for the AJ fight, so there is a bit of mobility there. That's a positive, that he can still walk around. But yeah, the report suggests that we're gonna find out today if his season has ended. I don't know if that was like a clickbait, but I was worried when he went down as well. It could potentially be a season ender. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but yeah, we'll probably find out tomorrow if it hasn't been announced yet. Potter all the way, but let the best man win, Potter or Adi Hotter. Don't think it's likely because we'd have to pay, but would love Angie. Yeah, over in Celtic. Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to come. Potentially, yeah. I'm not really as big of a fan as others are with him. I'd prefer the other managers. What about Paddy taking over in the summer? With all due respect, no. No, because he hasn't got the experience as much. And yeah, I mean, if we're talking about pushing on to the next level, I'm not too sure about Paddy taking over in the summer. He might need a job elsewhere to build up a bit more his a reputation and experience before he comes to take over a Premier League side. I'm not that much of a big fan of him taking over in summer. I think we could go down different routes rather than Paddy. Not that I'm saying that Paddy will do a bad job, but I feel like we could do a better job than just Paddy. With all due respect, Paddy will improve the team with Roy. Yeah, look, people were saying as well after the Leicester game, like people saying, give respect to Paddy as well. I think that's the most underrated move about the Roy appointment in the first place, having Paddy there, because as I said before, I feel like he's that bridge between the youth players and Roy, and it's massive to have Paddy for the next 9 games, and he was involved as well on the touchline, screaming against Leicester, telling the players to get involved. So I think that's a very underrated move by the club to have Paddy next to Roy. If I was us in this position at the moment, I'll go all out and grab Potter. So yeah, let's quickly talk about this and wrap it up. So about all this manager situation, we can talk about Adi Hutter. We can talk about the likes of Rodgers and Graham Potter to a certain extent. But the most important thing is that we need to sell a plan. This is Steve Parish's key moment. This is the moment that Steve Parish needs to step up to the plate. These are top quality managers that are out of job that we could potentially bring to the club. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy job, but we got rid of Vieira and it didn't work out. That's done. That ship has sailed. But now that these managers are available and you got the likes of Adi Hutter saying that he wants to manage in the Premier League, you got the likes of Brendan Rodgers to a certain extent that, I don't know if all the fans would be happy with that, but I think, he's got vast experience and he'll be, highly rated in Parish's camp. And also Graham Potter. I mean, we saw what he done with Brighton. But to attract these type of managers, you need to sow a plan. So right now, as people were frustrated with Parish, this is Parish's time to kind of redeem himself. To show what he's thinking about. Because we don't know what Parish is thinking. We don't know the plan. But this is his moment to sell the plan to these quality managers. And let's see if we can attract them. This is his key moment. This is the moment that he should be going all out for. Yes, we've got 9 games remaining and we're not too sure if we're mathematically safe. But one thing that, we do know is that if we were to be safe, we should be going for these type of managers. So I want to see what Parish does in this instance. I think this is very important for him. The likes of Hutter. Hutter's out of job right now. Hutter should be the number one focus for Parish right now. He's out of job. He wants to work in the Premier League. He probably doesn't want to take a break, clearly. So, talk to him. Talk to him. Get him on the phone. Get Rodgers on the phone. Get Potter on the phone and get something done. Get something done now. But yeah, that's my little moment anyways. That's my moment about thinking about all this manager situation. Get something done. This is Parish's thing. He needs to sell whatever plan he's got. He sacked Vieira. We didn't spend money. So what is the plan now in the summer? Sell this plan to other managers. And if you can't sell the plan to the likes of Graham Potter, Brendan Rodgers, and Hutter, then I've said it before, unless something drastically changes, I've lost faith in Parish. And if you can't sell this plan as well, and we can't attract these type of managers, then Steve Cooper, that's one thing I'm worried about. We might go for Steve Cooper if he gets sacked at Forest. Would you guys be happy with Cooper? I wouldn't. They spent about £100 million, £150 million so fighting relegation. I'm not saying he's a bad manager, but I would like us to be a bit more ambitious than Steve Cooper. And that's the thing. There's 3 managers in front of you. 3 managers in front of you. It's on you now. It's on you to try to attract them. Have Paddy Mac with Roy and Roy as consultant. I don't think Roy would want to stay on as consultant. I don't think he would. I think he's just here for 9 games, and afterwards he's gone. Patrick Vieira has been linked with Leeds United. Well, he was linked with Leeds. Apparently, he was interested in the Leeds job whilst he was managing at Palace. That's what the Athletic report suggested, that he was interested in the Leeds job. He didn't actually apply for it, I believe, but he was interested. So that doesn't surprise me one bit. I can see Vieira at Leeds. That's if Leeds don't go for another manager. And I understand why he would want to manage Leeds, because they will spend the money. You get it? They will spend the money. It all goes down to investment. How can you grow the football club? And yes, you can bring in the top quality managers, but you need to place a match and you need to spend money. I think Vieira was probably frustrated. Well, not probably. He was frustrated with, not offering him a new contract after the World Cup. That's what reports suggested. And he was looking at his future. Why would he not look at his future? So yeah, Vieira to Leeds, I won't be massively surprised about that. I'll tell you that. Please Parish out for me. If you don't deliver, it's going to take revenge on us. Yeah, I can see that happening. Steven says, if we play as well in the next 9 games, Roy Hodgson might get another season, especially if the owners have not sorted out the differences. That can't happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even if I said it before, even if Roy wins the next 9 to 10 games, it simply can't happen. Look, this has to be a short-term appointment. If we're talking about bringing in players that want to play for Palace, you can't have Roy as a manager going into next season as well. We can't do that. And I don't think Parish would do that in the first place. I don't think he's that silly, because I think that'll be just. I can see it happening. I can see it happening in terms of, Roy stays on and then things go south and then it gets toxic again. Look, let's not get carried away. I think 1 good game, yes, that's fine. As I said, even if he wins the next 9 games, that's fine. But we need to look for a younger manager. We need to start with the project thing. We can't keep having managers. Roy's not going to take us to the next level. We know that for sure. We've had him for about 4 to 5 years. So we need to bring in, whilst his manager available, why should we keep on Roy for next season? I think that would be a shocking move. Like, absolutely shocking. Yeah, look, 30 shots on target, that's a massive difference. And I feel like the instructions from the players is, go out there and play. Go out there and play it. And they just, enough of this passing about. We said it as well in the match reaction show. It was more direct. And I don't think we're going to have 30 shots on target or 30 shots every single game. But it's still positive to see. We just need to pick up 1 or 2 more wins. Then I don't care about the shots, honestly. Just get 1 or 2 more wins. Be mathematically safe. Then think about the next manager and next year's squad. Because that's the biggest thing. It can't be Roy next year. I'm sorry, but it just cannot be Roy. Because it's just staying the same level, and it's going to catch up to us sooner rather than later. We need to bring in a younger manager, a manager that can build the squad up. And we can't have these group of players with Roy for another year. Nah, they can't. He's not that bad. Like, I've lost faith in him, but he can't be that bad. He's not keeping Roy for another year. There's no way he's keeping Roy for another year. See, I mean, you're basically asking the fan base to just go against you all out. That's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen in the first place. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But look, I'm going to wrap it up here. Adi Hutter, his goals in Premier League, it's on us. It's on us now to try and solve the plan. There's been other clubs interested in him based on his quotes. But also, if it's not Hutter, Rodgers available, Potter available. This is our moment now. We need to go after these managers. We need to solve the plan. And hopefully we get the job done. But if you have enjoyed the stream, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. And until next time, up the Palace.